And we are. Hey guys, good to see you live on Facebook, live on YouTube. I'm Arden Kaywin. Welcome to the Pro Singer Success Collective. And today we are going to be talking about something I get asked all the time, which is Arden. I work on my technique. I do my vocalises. I really feel like I get the songs the way I want them. And then when I pick up my instrument, whether I sit down at the piano or I pick up my guitar to rehearse for a show or on stage with my instrument, all that good stuff goes out the corner, like out the mind and everything. And I'm back to my old habits when I play my instrument. So I get asked all the time, do you have any tips for how to maintain the integrity of all that good technique that you're practicing when you do your technique exercises when you're playing your instrument at the same time? And so here's what I will say first and foremost, okay? Because sometimes playing your instrument and thinking about your vocal technique can feel a little bit like doing this, like rubbing your belly and patting your head at the same time, right? And it will feel that way until one of two things happens, okay? Either your vocal technique becomes so default and like muscle memory, hardcore muscle memory, that you can focus on your instrument without focusing on your technique, and your technique will still be there for you. That is not the situation that most of you find yourself in. Most of you are currently working on the consistency of your vocal technique. And yet you can't just like not play shows or not play your instrument, right? So the other situation is making sure that your muscle memory with your instrument is rock solid, so that you don't have to be looking at your hand at your chords on the guitar. You don't have to be looking at what you're doing and thinking about where do I go next on the piano, right? Like whatever songs you're playing on piano or on guitar, like be able to play them if the sky is falling down, if your toddler is nagging at your ankle, like without any distraction, you can get those chords right, like no matter what. Okay, so like in the situation though that you are working on your vocal technique and you want to be able to show up to your instrument in a way that aligns your technique with the instrument, and so it doesn't seem like you're doing two things at once, here are some tips. And so specifically for all of you guitar players out there, a couple of things that just you can do to set yourself up with your guitar that will impact your vocal technique no matter what. So most of you, when you play your guitar, you go to your guitar. And so your guitar is here and your whole body is like molded around the guitar, versus bring the guitar to you. You are here, the guitar comes to you. You don't go to your guitar, because that alignment is going to kill the alignment that the body needs for the best breath inhales and for the best breath support. Okay, so number one, bring your guitar to you. What can really help with that is wear a strap. Wear a strap so you don't, hands free, the guitar is here. You don't have to worry about holding it up. Okay, even if you're sitting, wear a strap. But that brings me to my second point for you guitar players out there. When you're working on vocal technique, don't sit while you play guitar, because it's much easier to bring the guitar to you and to find that really great alignment for your breath and your lower support when you're standing. Then when you're sitting, it's just so much easier to just like not realize that you're going back to this thing when you're sitting. Okay, so number one, get a strap and stand. Number two, bring the guitar to you. Number three, when you're playing, the guitar, the body of the guitar sits across the muscles of support. Like the guitar goes right down like this, right? And so you can breathe into the back of the wooden body of the guitar. You can use that as a metric to feel if your lower ribs are expanding on the inhale. And then when you go into your support, if you've watched my Apojo videos, if you understand how I teach support and the correct body physiology that happens for proper breath support, these muscles are flexing. You see me flex, okay? So if the body of the guitar is sitting here, I'm going to use that as something to flex into so that I can feel, oh, am I consistent in my lean and in my flex of my support? Or do I feel myself receding away from the body of the guitar? In which case, I'm no longer in flex, I'm in contract, and we don't want that. Okay. And if you don't understand what I'm talking about with these ideas of breath support, go watch. If you're watching on YouTube, or even if you're watching on Facebook, go over to YouTube and look for, search Arden Kaywin Appoggio, and I'm going to put it in the chat, Appoggio, and you can see my video on breath support. Let me put it in Facebook. Okay, so search that, and if you're like clueless about what I'm talking about flex versus contract, go watch that video. You will get lots of clarity. If you know what I'm talking about and you are a guitar player, and I'm going to talk about you piano players in a second, use the body of the guitar, okay? Because you can get present to that, to feel whether you're in the proper flex of support or whether you're contracting away from it. So that's the third thing. Now, I'm going to talk about piano for a second, and then I'm going to talk about the best way for both piano and guitar to build consistency for good technique while you're playing your instrument. So if you are a piano player, make sure that the bench of the piano is a little further back from the keyboard so that your entire butt and underneath your thighs are not on the bench. So if this is the bench and this is the front of the bench, I don't want like my whole thighs and my butt on the bench. I want my sits bones right up at the edge of the bench. So it's so that way I'm very upright, because if you're too far back, then you're here. Okay. And again, not good alignment for breath support. Okay. Don't be looking down at your hands. Like what I said before, memorize your placement and your movements so that you can stay in really good alignment. So sits bones right at the edge of the bench so that you are in a really good, like shoulder blades sliding down your back position to play. Now, for those of you who play piano also and you sing with mics, make sure that you have a boom mic stand. So instead of just a stand that's like this and then the mic is on it, you want the stand that looks like an upside down L. Okay. And make sure the boom and the mic are like coming to you, because if they're too far away, what are you going to do? This to get into the mic. And now whatever best alignment and support and technique that you know is going to be sabotaged by going like this to get to the mic. Same thing for those guitar players who are going like this over their guitar. Doesn't matter what they know and how they utilize their body for proper breath support when they don't have their guitar on. The minute they do this, that gets sabotaged. Okay. So these are just like some good like rules of thumb of utilizing instrument, piano, guitar when you're singing. Now, the best thing, and this is what I teach all the singers in my intensive training program, those who perform while playing. When you're learning the technique, when you're learning the tenets of breath support, the tenets of your resonance, all those specific tools and ideas, you're not using your instrument, okay? But once you feel like you understand the coordination of the opposition, and again, if you don't know what I'm talking about, come to one of our free workshops. You'll definitely know what I'm talking about, plug. Although I don't know when we're doing our next one yet. It'll be in the fall. But if you want to get on our email list to know when we're doing the next one, tell me in the chat and give me your email address in the chat, and I'll make sure that you get added for that. But anyway, if you understand and feel like you have the coordination for your opposition, for your breath support, for your resonance, and you can do that pretty regularly without your instrument when you're doing your technique exercises, then what we start doing is we tell you to do your technique exercises while you're playing your instrument. Okay. So if I'm a guitar player, and I'm going to do whatever, mi, me, ma, right? I'm going to be strumming that, say I'm doing it in the key of C. I'm going to be strumming a little strumming pattern in C. Bum, ba-da-da-dum, ba-da-da-dum. And I'm going, and that's my pattern. Mi, me, ma. And then I'm going to go up to the next key, just like I would if I was doing my technique exercises. And I'm strumming. Mi, me, ma. Go up to the next key with your, and so you're learning how to strum a very simple pattern and practice staying on your support and on your technique. Same thing if you're a pianist. Just pick an easy arpeggio pattern, bum, 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 or an easy chord pattern, bum, bum, ba-dum, whatever you want, okay? And you're accompanying your technique exercises. You do it with the lip trills, you do it with the yayas, whatever exercises you're doing. Your practice now becomes accompanying your technique exercises so that you are conditioning that muscle memory of playing and singing at the same time, staying in your technique, okay? That is the fastest and best way to build that muscle memory of good technique in your voice and your body while you're playing your instrument, whatever it may be. I see we have a couple questions. James is asking, expand against the guitar like it's the book exercise. The book exercise. James, I'm not remembering the book exercise. So it's really just the same thing as if you were working on your flex and you had, your hands on your appoggio here, or you had one hand here, or you were, had hands on and you were flexing into your appoggio while you sing. Now you have something there. The guitar is there, so you can flex into it. And same thing on the inhale. You can, you'll feel yourself expand and you'll feel the guitar, as you expand and come up against it. So I hope that answers that question. Because yes, that is what I'm talking about there. Let me think. Was there anything else that I wanted to give to you guys on this topic? I mean, I think that the most important thing is that once you start conditioning what it feels like to be doing one thing here or one thing here and maintaining that, oh, I know what it was. Okay, so for you pianists, okay, because you're sitting, most of you will do your technique and vocal exercises standing, but then you sit down at the piano to play your show, and that's a different experience, okay? And so when we talk about lower support and we talk about pelvic floor, and again, if you're unsure, you can Google Arden Kaywin pelvic floor vocal technique exercise and you'll find stuff on YouTube. And so the best thing about being a pianist is, the bench is usually, hard, right? You can, when you feel that flexing, that bearing down into your pelvic floor, you feel the bench. You feel more and more of the bench. So you can use that bench to feel that flex down of support in the same way that the guitar player can feel this flex up against the guitar, but your pelvic floor is also moving down. You can feel on the bench that pelvic floor. Yeah, flex awareness as, yeah, James, good, exactly. So, but it's incumbent on you to build this coordination in while doing your technique exercises. Don't practice everything without your instrument and your technique, and then all of a sudden pick up your instrument and do your songs. There's no bridge. There's no bridge in that. Okay. So after, a couple weeks, a good month or two of this practice, and it doesn't mean you do it for a month and then you stop. I'm just saying it takes about a month to build that coordination. After about a month or so of using your instrument to accompany your technique exercises, then start in a very dedicated practice. So not in band rehearsal, not in rehearsal for your gig, but like when you're doing your own rehearsal of whatever those songs are, start to notice, okay, when I'm playing in the songs that I'm going to sing in my set, am I aware? Am I in my awareness? Am I witnessing in the same way that I am when I'm accompanying my technique exercises? Okay. Because if you go on autopilot when you're in the show, your technique will only show up as the default in as much as you've practiced it. But if you're in your awareness, you can be able to cultivate and call up a lot more consistency. So that's my tip for today. This is something that we have a lot of our singers do in the intensive training program. Practice your technique exercises with the instrument that you play in a show. If you play bass, do it with your bass. Okay. If you play drums, I know a lot of drummers sing backup, and the mic is here and drummers singing backup, right? Give yourself just a simple pattern and feel the bench that you're sitting on or the stool that you're sitting on, and start to notice when I'm playing, do I collapse? Do I flex? Like really start to notice your habits and inhibit them. Choose differently to make sure that you're using and conditioning your efficient technique habits while you're playing. All right, guys. If there's any other questions in this, you can always put in the chat. I always go in after, and I will, if you're watching in the replay or something occurs to you, and I will answer after the fact. If you are listening to me talk and you already know all of the great, tools and method that we give to our singers in the intensive training program, and you want to talk to me about if it's right for you, or if you have no idea what the intensive training program is, and you're hearing me and you're like, that sounds interesting to me. I want to invite you to get on a call with me and we'll talk. And we'll talk about where you are in your singing, where you want to go in your singing, the gap between where you are and where you want to go, the big issues that you have been challenged with that are keeping you from really getting to that next elite level in your singing and in your singing career. And I will share with you the step-by-step system that we use to train our singers out of their habits and into their highest potential. And we work very differently, me and my team. This is not traditional training, but it gets way better results in a shorter period of time when you work holistically with a team like this. So if you're curious about that and you want to talk to me and see if it's a fit for you, I'm going to put link in the chat right now to get on a call with me. And just a word about this call. So this is not for you if you are not a serious singer. Okay. And what that means is you love to sing, but you've never really invested in your training before. You're not out there auditioning, gigging, performing, like hustling. If you're a newbie to all of this, this call is not for you. This training is for singers who, the intensive training program is for singers who are really serious about getting to the next level of what they're doing. You're out there, you're auditioning, you're performing, you're gigging, you're recording, and you're just not seeing the results of all of that you've been doing in the form of the sound and the impact and the career opportunities that you really want. You're making a record and it gets, 10,000 plays. Or you're going to auditions and you're getting in the callbacks and you're not getting the gig. Or you are doing a certain level of shows, but you're not getting paid because you're not making that impact at a bigger level because your voice and your performance is being sabotaged by something that you probably don't even realize. So this is what we do in the intensive training program. And if you're curious about how we do it and if it's right for you, then get on my calendar, book a call with me. We'll talk about it. And if it's a fit, fantastic. I'll show you what that looks like. And if it's not a fit, that's okay too. No harm, no foul. All right, you guys, I hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. Go practice your technique exercises with your instrument. And I will see you guys next time right back here. Bye, everybody.